All right, Kinsman, here we are, live, back in action.
Live.
And
As
look at
opposed
you.
to
Look at
the
you.
cardboard
Listen,
cutouts.
Yeah.
We're live at 67 3rd Ave here in downtown Timmins, Ontario.
There we go.
Yes.
There we go. I don't know why my do not disturb came off on the computer, but I'm going to get Aiden to take care of that for me. He's a good man on the board
He's
tonight.
working the board.
Yeah,
His
there he
first
goes.
time back at the board.
Yeah. You don't want to see
he's getting back to the school schedules.
If I keep, you don't want my text messages popping up because it's going to show all the text messages asking for a loan from you.
Loans,
Yeah.
Well, that was quite the phone call last night. Yes, coming back from the Rock game, I got a phone call from the Iroquois Falls Hockey Association, stating that here I am parking, and they said, yeah, you won $5,000 in a 50-50.
All right.
And I thought it was a scam, but it's legit. And I was I guess the first prize winner. There was a $3,000 winner and a $2,000 winner, and I picked up $5,000.
Just what everyone likes to hear. Someone bragging about winning money.
Oh, come on.
I don't know if that's a good idea, kids.
It's a good way to start the new year. That's for sure.
Well, for you. Well, who are you talking to?
Well, I'm talking to You've already you came in here. You said, those new speakers we need. They're about $4,995.
You know when you get those messages, oh, I'm so happy for you, Kinsman. Those are just social media comments. Right?
So social media comments. They're really saying you're a flipping arsehole. Gotta watch our language. We got young kids, students in the household.
Wow, you almost broke the O'Gorman. You're not representing O'Gorman.
Well,
tonight,
you're representing the O'Gorman green.
That's right.
You're wearing a golf shirt.
You know I love O'Gorman.
Yes.
It's the best school.
It is the best school.
It's the best school. And again, we were just talking, before the show, I wish my high school, I went to Ajax High, did something like this with a career fair.
Yeah.
So, I think as we evolve, it's nice to see that, they're putting the kids first here.
Well, I was on the dean's list. You were on the dudes list. Most missed classes and got all D's. So the dudes list. Anyway,
I was in auto class.
Yeah. Anyways, why don't you introduce our guest?
Yes. Okay. So let's welcome to our panel. On the far left, we've got Anna.
Hi, everybody.
And we've got one of the O'Gorman students here. He's going to be telling us all about career fair. We've got Carl.
Yes.
In the house.
That's right.
There we go. So if you know Carl, you want to shoot Carl a question, fire it in the comments. And of course, if you want to ask anything to Anna, you can ask about career fair in the comments as well.
Joanne, best school ever. Okay, so we are here to chat the career fair, but why don't we start with Anna? Tell us what's happening tomorrow.
So tomorrow, the Anne McDonald Gym. So that's that's like my name.
Yeah,
I have my own gym.
That is pretty cool.
Right.
I have my own gym.
You've got your own.
Well, Mark has $5,000. Maybe he can get his name.
Right. So not Anna McDonnell, but Anne McDonald Gym. So our gym at O'Gorman High School, we're actually hosting a career fair. So it's been a long time since we've actually hosted one. But I think the neat part of it is it would be really neat for parents to attend. I don't think we've ever done that before. The one thing, kids don't really tell you this as parents, like kids, they consider parents their biggest influence. They really do. And they don't tell us this, like, hey, mom, dad, like, I look up to you, but not to out the kids, but I hear that a lot.
You hear it a lot.
I hear a lot.
The halls.
They tell me, I hear about their parents a lot and what their parents think. So what parents think matters despite what the kids might be telling you at home. It's, like I hear it.
So you think the kids might not want you at a career fair, come and
well, I
think
it's
tomorrow.
important to inform the kids what's out there in terms of employment. But I also think it's equally important to inform the parents as to the opportunities in Timmins because they might not know.
Opportunities. Yeah. And, where, things, I'm noticing a trend online. A lot of high school students, instead of going far away to, attend school and looking for careers, they're finding, ample opportunities right here in our own backyard, which, you'll be able to find out tomorrow.
Just the cliches you were talking
about. Yeah, I know. You're good. Listen, they're going to
keep,
he's flying them out constantly. He loves them. We got to let him have it.
You love
in
my
our
cliches.
backyard.
There is no stopping the cliches. It's just what he does.
Any cheesy cliches,
Yes.
just add them in the comments
Yeah,
for me.
all the
I need
data
to use them.
and
It's a new year. I need new cliches.
so I remember, a while back now, I remember my parents telling me university was the only route to go. And this isn't a knock on university, but sometimes that's not where your passion is. So I went and got a sociology degree and had a great time at Ottawa U, by the way.
Yeah.
But that being said, it wasn't really fit for what I wanted to do. I was just making my folks happy. A lot of my friends went into trades. And we're talking like, this is back in the 90s. And now that they had jobs that they loved since they were 20, they built themselves an amazing life. But the biggest thing, they did something they loved to do. So whether it's trades or university or whatever, career you want to go into, chase your passion. But like you're saying, there's so many career opportunities there.
Well, it just sounds like, from what I've been hearing and from what I've been seeing, like pretty soon you're going to have tradespeople that are making more money than doctors and lawyers.
And that's the way
it's just something that we're not used to see. I mean, some of us might be, but it's just something that not everybody's used to seeing. So
it's not what people are, expecting. If you put a doctor next to, let's say, a plumber, and a plumber, their salaries are, in the six figures.
Not having
not
nurses.
knocking any of the
Nurses
trades
make
make some great
excellent
money.
money. Like nurses make excellent money, and I mean, it's something that and I mean, when you think of like the hospital, they have tons and tons of careers that many that I haven't even heard of, right? Like, I'm going to mention it. You don't have to talk about it. You don't have to talk about it, but they have something called nuclear medicine at the hospital. Nobody knows what that is except for people that work there, right? And then it's just, not that I'm going to have any, people from radiology there, but it's nice for parents to know that we've got some amazing experiences.
Pretty good technology right here in the city.
Yeah. And it'd be neat to have the exposure, the older people exposure. I have access to the kids. I don't have access to the parents, which is where you come in.
Yeah. Well, hey, Homer Simpson made a career in nuclear energy, so you never know. No, it's not the same job. Okay.
The episode with the bird hitting the key.
Hey, his son bought a power plant. Okay, and Homer went to space. He did okay. But let's chat with Carl. So, let's hear someone like who's going through the program. So
Carl's going through the paces right now, and Carl, you're
the paces.
you're working up at the hospital right now.
Yes, I am. I'm a co-op student there.
Okay.
Yeah. Like in the hospital, we don't stay in one department for the whole period. We like rotate. So my first department was in DI, diagnostic imaging, and after that I went to Med 3C, which before I really liked like X-rays and stuff, and I thought that's where I want to be. And when I went to like Med 3C, I actually found out like how I wanted to be a nurse, and how I think I prefer to be a nurse than like working in like the X-ray and stuff, because like with all the experience,
Get a lot of hands-on experience. I would take it.
So this is amazing. So Carl, you're in grade 11.
Yeah.
And, at the beginning stages of life,
There's a cliche, right?
Bless you, because grade 11, I was just worried about when the next high school dance
I
with.
was popping
Carl,
zits in the mirror at
so Carl, has an opportunity to find out if this is his passion, if it is something you like, and you're taking on a co-op at the hospital. Now you're thinking what, nursing after potentially?
Yeah. Nursing, I think for me is like, I don't know, I just like it more because like I get to do more stuff, especially in like co-op, where I got to like answer bells, and I got like, I guess, into it more. Yeah,
I think it's awesome.
The hands-on makes a big difference.
And it happens a lot where kids actually, they decide they have like an idea in their mind of like the career they want to go to. It happens often, I want to be a radiologist. And then they go in and they just like explore, and then they get like 5 or 6 different rotations. Isn't it right? You had like at least 5 or 6 rotations. And then they're like, okay, you know what? I wanted to become a radiologist, but now I want to be this. And it's nice to see. It's one thing to be talked at or taught, right? But they kind of see the different aspects. And then not always, but quite frequently, they end up changing their minds and saying, oh, I want to do this now, right? So.
Well, and especially after you get that, that hands-on experience. So tomorrow for the career fair, once again, you're inviting, students and parents, and it's
And
an
guardians,
opportunity and guardians for, everyone can see the opportunities that are available, in our community, and speak with the people that are in these roles right now, because you don't have to limit yourself based on what was happening in the 80s or 90s.
Exactly.
The world's changed, Kinsey.
Yeah,
The world is
you're seeing how it's evolving now, and of course, come and discover what cooperative education is all about and what is offered through, O'Gorman High.
Well, and Dan Fleury, I believe he's with Northern College with the welding program.
No way.
If I'm not right, he's an instructor there. He's saying, a couple up there, Aiden, Dan Fleury says,
says
co-op is a very good program to experience. Yeah,
Sure,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Hands on.
Yeah. No, yeah. And I mean, we do get kids that they teach like the level 1 program. You get like a Red Seal trade even before you get your high school diploma. So you get a post-secondary education. I mean, mind you, it's competitive and you have to earn your stripes, I guess. But is that a cliche? Yeah.
See, he's
I rub off on all the guests.
The only thing that's not rubbing off is him giving us some money. The only thing
I don't even have it yet. It's in the mail. So
as 12 people rush to your mailbox right now, but
checking it out.
Now we're going to be there tomorrow.
We're going to be hanging out at O'Gorman. We're going to have our own booth there. So if you want to come up and chat with us and maybe see where our career has led us, where you could definitely take the path
just
into social media.
So if you are a student and you bring a parent. If you bring a parent to the career fair, you get a chance to win a Chromebook.
Yes, Chromebook, a free Chromebook.
If you're a student and you can't show up with a parent guardian, or I'll even take like an older friend, like let's just say somebody over the age of 25 that's an influential person in your life. But if you can't, then that's fine. Come to the career fair, fill in a ballot, and I'll get you a draw for a Tim's card.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Well, there we go.
You can't go wrong. And pizza, right?
And free complimentary pizza at 5 o'clock.
You don't have to cook that night. I mean,
you don't have to cook.
Come for the pizza at least.
Now,
come for the dinner.
We're on this Planet. We're with Planet Fitness right now, doing a fit challenge for 30 days.
Oh no!
This pizza, man, I love this pizza. I don't know.
You can eat it. You just have to go on the treadmill an extra half an hour longer per slice.
You just want to beat me at that contest.
I'm gonna beat him at that challenge.
Treadmills at that school.
There we go. Can you imagine? Yeah.
Start running.
So how many different sectors of employers will be there tomorrow? Do you know?
Oh boy, how many sectors?
Yeah.
We've got about 40 booths set up.
40 booths.
So 40 different employers. Now, not all of the employers are coming. So the kids are coming. There's about 50 or so kids, and they're each setting up a booth. Mm-hmm. So like Carl is working with, how many people are with you? 4?
4, yeah.
Yeah, so he's going to have like 4 kids just in the hospital alone, right? But loosely, we kind of separate into 3 different sections. So we have the trades, which includes all the OYAP, Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program trades. Then we have like the health sector, and those are like the biggest shortages in Timmins. Mm-hmm. So those are kind of ones that we target the most. But there's also what we call just co-op, I guess, which is the traditional one where you have your anything else that's not trade and that's not health sector. So, but literally any place that has any business in Timmins is fair game for hiring a co-op student.
A lot of career opportunities in Timmins. So you'll be able to see them, maybe even drop off resumes or to chat. That's the best part.
I almost think of it as it's just a nice way to network. And I know the employers want to meet the kids as well. So it works well to have an introduction of the two.
Face on face to face, and then when it comes time to hire, they can remember so and so, or the Carls of the world at the career fair.
Now, Selena was asking, what is the start and end times?
So it starts at 1. That's going to be when the kids are actually setting up their booths. We decided to make the end time 6 o'clock so that if there's parents that work regular, 8 to 4, 9 to 5 hours, they can scoot in after work.
Okay.
So 1 until 6. Pizza at 5.
Pizza at 5 o'clock.
Complimentary
Yeah.
pizza. You
Yeah.
gotta love the complimentary.
Yeah, we're
pizza.
going to be doing that there. We're going to have a booth. We're going to do it in a live feed.
Yeah,
We're gonna-
you'll see some live coverage down there. We'll
chat
talk
with
to some
some
of the students.
Yeah.
And we just might bring, we'll get Anna
Yeah.
to, pass us through some of the
Yeah.
some of the many faces that we'll run through.
And Joanne was
tomorrow.
saying her son did a police ride along, so he got that firsthand experience.
Oh,
Again, firsthand experience.
And
You
I
can't
believe
beat
he's
it.
an officer. So there,
No way.
there you go. Yeah. Yeah.
nice.
It's awesome.
Yeah, sure is.
Maybe with your money, you can get a nice O'Gorman shirt.
Yeah,
there,
I'll
Kinsman.
buy an O'Gorman shirt
I should have
tomorrow.
brought mine.
Yeah, you
Like, we
should.
should have had gotten me one too.
A wave of green.
Well, you know what? We'll do
Yeah.
an exchange, a KINZ and KLOMP hoodie for an O'Gorman shirt. How about
I
that?
almost feel like I have to tell you to take your hat off. I'm not going
because
to.
she's a
That's
teacher. But, you
But
know,
it's
Anna's
almost
going to be
like-
chasing you in the halls there. You want to see this Chrome, don't? We're giving away Chromebooks tomorrow,
it-
but this Chrome.
well,
here, you don't wanna
in
see
the
that.
night, well, yeah, it is pretty shiny.
Holy.
But you see it every day. That's
I
shock
know.
value just for
I know.
camera. But other
Shocks
people,
him
I
every
can see,
time.
they're like, put the hat back on. But and when I went to high school, hats were allowed. So
Hats were allowed. What else was allowed back in the day?
Anarchy, I tell
Hey,
ya.
my son is here.
Anarchy.
My son is here. I'm not telling you what was allowed back. Only thing was allowed was getting your work done on time
Yeah.
and
I remember
respecting your
shop class
teachers.
back in that when I went back there. They had that saying. I don't know if anybody took shop
Uh-oh,
class. Here's the
uh-oh.
saying: "It was red before green, forever be seen. Green before red, forever dead." Is that a true fact?
Ask
When
a
you're
truth.
crossing the
Right.
welding,
Advice
putting
from
on
the
the
30s.
the gas
Yeah.
tanks.
Oh yeah, hooking up a boiler. with a
I still
Titanic.
remember
know.
that, right? You're like, okay, is this the wrong way? And then the teacher
Carl-
would dive
Carl's
in there.
looking at you like there's no idea what you're talking about.
No, you can't beat the
yes,
old
Selena.
school shop
Yes,
class.
Selena, it is
Yeah.
at O'Gorman in their gym. And
1 to 6.
it's a beautiful thing. Well, we look forward to it. Have we missed anything here?
I don't think so. I think we're good.
Yeah, we
Please
are good.
come. Bring your siblings if you're a high school student. Bring your parents. Let's make it a party.
Let's make it a party.
Yeah.
And again, 1 to 6. So no excuses. Free pizza at 5. So you're gonna say, "Oh, I got to go home and eat." Well, you can
No.
eat and
Yep.
check out the 40+ booths that are going to be set up at O'Gorman, and run into Carl and have a chat, and run into Anna's and run into us. We're gonna have a booth there.
There we go. Nothing wrong with wearing a hat in school. There we go, Joanne. Joanne's on my side.
Joanne is on the hat side. She's on Team KLOMP
that's right.
tonight.
If
Thanks,
my
Joanne.
mom's
Yeah.
looking down, she'd probably be telling me to take my hat off too. So, my granddaughter
Yeah.
is in grade 9 and is going for mechanic and firefighter, Brooklyn. Awesome, amazing. Yes,
Oh, I'm so
Love to hear
glad.
this story.
I'm
Yep.
so glad.
Stephanie. Yeah,
Stephanie saying
so
hello.
amazing
So many
story.
people.
To
tuned in
me,
tonight,
once
yeah.
again, it's about chasing what you're passionate about. And some people are lucky enough to know what it is early, and some people take to their 40s.
And
us.
honestly, it's just if you just go in there, even if you don't know, just go in and try.
Yeah.
Like you don't know what you're like. I have a lot of kids that actually come in and they're stressed out because they don't know what they want to do with their life when they're 16,
Yeah.
which I think is ridiculous, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Nobody should have to know what they want
What
to
you're
do.
gonna do.
So like the first thing I tell them
know?
is just try something that you're not comfortable with and just experience it, right? And then you never know. You never know. At the very worst, it's a placement that's not for you.
That's right.
And I saved you lots of tuition money and you can go into something you do want to go
Well, that's
into.
it. And
Right?
again, if it works the other
Good
way, you
advice.
can say, I may be steering toward a certain career, and then you see something else at this career fair saying, hey, maybe this is what I want to do.
Trisha saying, I'm going to take heavy duty mechanic. I want to be a grease monkey. Once again, another amazing career.
Perfect.
Grease monkeys.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Another
Nothing wrong
amazing-
with grease monkeys.
Oh,
Wanted to be
my
rich, but
goodness.
never happened. I don't have a horseshoe like Mark.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
I don't have a horseshoe either. I don't know. Just some good luck as of late. I like it.
Thank you, Dan. Okay, so we're going to thank our sponsors and we're going to thank our guests and we're going to see
Yes.
them tomorrow. We love them. You know what I feel, how I feel about O'Gorman kids. I get excited.
You love O'Gorman. Your
Yes,
whole
I
family
do.
has gone through there. Your kids.
Yeah, that's right. The whole Clomps back to the
The whole
1800s have
Clomp.
gone to O'Gorman.
Yes.
Uh,
Clomp
and-
rules. We're gonna go back. We're gonna try and find Clomp's locker at O'Gorman. We'll see if it still has. It's probably etched with something on there. We'll see if it's.
But
still there.
we have, don't change that dial, as they used to say, pal, because we have Lisa Wilson.
Yeah,
coming up.
Lisa Wilson,
An amazing author.
an amazing author here in the city.
Book launches
Yes.
tomorrow.
And the book is, if you sign up for the book, when you listen to Lisa coming up, you can actually book a session with her, a 4-week training series.
She's amazing, and she's going to teach you a thing or two.
Believe
it or not,
might.
That's more of a miracle than winning the money.
No matter how old you are in life, there's always a day to learn something new. And again, that's my favorite cliche. Just had to end it on a cliche.
The students are just going to be staring you in the eye. What is this guy talking about? This must be like a TikTok video making fun of cliches. All right, so we'll be right back after a thank you to our sponsors.
That's right.
And let's stay on track with your New Year's resolutions and join Planet Fitness today. Get started for $1 down and then only $15 a month, and you can cancel anytime. Deal ends, though, this Thursday. Download the free Planet Fitness app and join today. In DAP Cleaning Solutions, residential commercial cleaning excellence guaranteed. Cleaning service, carpet cleaner, janitorial service, stripping, waxing floors, windows, any job that you need sanitized, you call Andrew N today. In fact, book now for the rest of January for your carpet cleaning, strip, and wax jobs. 705-465-3500. And $1K a day. The TADH Foundation wants to pay your bills this week. If you haven't got a ticket yet, Timmins District 5050.ca, and good luck. Someone's going to win $1,000 every day at 1 p.m. all this week. And Urban Windows and Doors, because you only want to do this once. 1185 Riverside Drive, Timmins. Beachcomber Hot Tubs, Marquee Spas, and of course, beautiful doors and windows. Call Manny and his crew today, 705-264-1113. And Dare Timmins wants you to become a board member for 2023. Apply today, daretimmins@gmail.com. And how about a free estimate from V&M Renovations? Maybe this is a resolution to get the kitchen, bathroom, bedroom renoed. Well, let's do it with the professionals, Max and Justin. Call V&M Renovations today, 705-372-3832. And the BIA, otherwise known as the Business Improvement Association, they're located at their new suites in downtown, 85 Pine Street South, Suite 108. You can also visit them online, downtowntimmins.com, or call 705-264-8733. And Jackpot City Gaming, open 7 days a week, 9 a.m. till 2. Bingo, Vegas-style games, and they're now fully licensed at 251 First Avenue. And all eyes at Imagine Cinema 6 this week on Megan, the creepy doll movie. Look at that. She's more than a toy. She's family. You can check this one out online. Showtimes and tickets at ImagineCinemas.com. And Leading with Ease with one of our guests tonight, Lisa Wilson, who's in our studio. You can be a part of Leading with Ease. In fact, if you commit now, between now and tomorrow, you'll receive an additional 4-week training series with Lisa. Check out and commit online, leadingwithease.ca. And Claim Post Realty Limited Brokerage wants you to seal your deal with Albert Seal. Sales representative, albertseal.com for his latest listings. And you can book an appointment with Albert today if you're buying or selling, 705-465-3493 to have Albert seal your deal. And the 2023 Under-18 Curling Championships coming to the McIntyre Curling Club the week of February the 5th through 11th. In fact, join us for the opening ceremony, February the 5th, at 4:30, as we will be your hosts. And the Cooperators Timmins getting you set for saving money this year with a TFSA and RRSP. How about a mutual fund? Contact Sebastian Vermette and his team today, 239 Wilson Avenue in Timmins, or call 705-264-4395. And how about this for saving money? Complaining about high meat prices? Well, shop local and you're going to save a bundle with this meat bundle from Pick Up the Crop. 2 pounds of boneless breast, 2 pounds of lean ground beef, 2 pounds of chicken thighs, 2 pounds center cut chops with the bone in, and 2 pounds of sausage for an amazing price, $54.99. That's this week's meat bundle at Pick Up the Crop.
All right, Kinsman, so
we're
back in action.
Yes.
So your wish list was to win money accomplished. My wish list, and I mentioned this many times, is to be able to sit down and pen a book type
And
a
write
book,
a book.
write a book, however you
That's
want
right.
to put it. I'm so envious and proud, and this is such a major accomplishment. Congratulations,
Thanks.
Lisa. I
Lisa
think
Wilson's
this is so
here.
super
Yeah.
cool, and we have a lot of questions for you.
All right.
But maybe a logical step here is to introduce the book, tell us what it's
Yes.
about, and then we got I have a bunch of questions about it.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, I brought you both a copy.
Oh,
so
wow,
I'll give you
here
those
we
right
go.
now.
Thank
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Leading with ease.
Yes.
Yes.
From Lisa Wilson, creating a solid foundation for your leadership role. Look at that. It must be just so exciting. Before we even get into the book, like exciting when you get the box of all these and you open it up for the first time.
Yes, yeah, it was. Actually, the first time it felt like I wrote a book was they sent me the cover art. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw the cover art, and she didn't send me the specific one. She gave me 4 to choose from. And when I saw that one, I was like, oh my God, I wrote a book.
Right?
Isn't
Yeah.
that wild?
Yeah. And I just had that moment of, oh, wow, it's real now.
It
Yeah.
really is. It's big. So introduce the book to our viewers, and I want to talk a little bit about the process, how you
Okay.
got there.
All right. So the book itself it's what I call the roots of leadership. So if you have the 4 things that I go through in the book, if you have these and you're really aware of them as a leader, you'll be able to be consistent in your role. So showing up in the same way every day, your team will know where they're going. It won't be as difficult to keep everybody going in the same direction. As we go through, I'll walk through what those 4 things are. But if you want, I can go how it came about.
Yeah, you sure can.
Okay,
Yeah,
so-
Absolutely.
please do.
So how it came about is I do leadership coaching and HR consulting now, and a big push is have a book behind you. It's a lot easier if you have a book behind you. And so I have this, we all have those grand ideas, and I started speaking to someone who did what she calls hybrid publishing. So that means they do everything that a professional publisher would do, but it's a self-published book. And I started speaking to her and I was telling her my grand idea, and she goes, "You ever written a book before?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Then don't start with the big one."
Start off small first,
Yes.
and then bite off more.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
She said, "So start with the small one." She said, "You give a course, right?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." And she said, "Okay, so then just take the course and write the course." And the process itself wasn't as easy as it sounded. Just write the course, because I give the lesson in an hour and I speak it. When you speak something, it's not the same when you write it down, because the context isn't there when you write it down. You can't give different voice inflection for people to know
No.
what's happening.
They don't
So-
understand. It's like when you text someone and they're like, "Are
Yeah.
you mad?" Like the LOL. Are you really laughing?
Yeah.
Are you pissed off at me? Like it's hard to
Yes.
decipher that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the whole process of writing it down, I got to it was the second or the third. I've set it up into 4 sections, and each section has 3 chapters. So I got to the one section, and I've never taught it as 3 different chapters. So I've never taught it as 3 different lessons. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And it took like 2 weeks to try and figure it out. And I had a coach, and so then we had to change the whole book so that each section now had an introduction, so you understood how these 3 lessons fit together,
Okay.
and then each lesson separately. So it was a whole different process to write a book.
Bit of a
So-
learning curve,
Yeah.
obviously.
Well, and I followed Lisa on social media for a while, and one is for your human resources background, and I find, just touching on human resources, some of us that work in the field often forget about the human element, which is to try, and I'm going to put this simplistic, try to make life at work for people as pleasant and as good as possible. Doesn't have to be perfect, but as good as possible, the human element. And I find on your social media, I really love it, because you always try to focus on the positive or self-improvement ends.
Yes.
And I notice you often do it in times where things can be perceived as heavily negative.
Yeah.
You did a lot in the
COVID.
COVID world.
Yes.
And I really like that. And I believe this book is, extension of helping people, correct?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It most definitely is. I think, and actually one of the sections I talk about this is that when we step into a leadership role, we think it's going to be easy, right? Everyone thinks, oh, I'm just going to be the leader and there's going to be no problem. And then you get there and you go, whoa, this was not at all.
These little mini dumpster fires. Like, how do you,
Yeah,
how do you
yeah.
put them out? And this
Yeah.
is what the book is all about.
Yeah, and you're no longer dealing with things. So at the end of the day, when we were, we'll say, on the front line or whatever, you finished the day and you had something, whether it was a part in your hand or a number of parts that you did. Maybe if you're more an admin, it would be like a spreadsheet or a set of emails or something. And once you get into that leadership role, at the end of the day, you hold nothing. You've run all day, you've had 1,000 conversations, you've made a ton of decisions, you're tired, and you just think, like, did I do anything today? Because there's nothing to hold on to that you actually accomplished. Because all you're doing as the leader is really clearing anything that's in the way of your team getting their job done. And so you were mentioning like the first company I worked for is really where you kind of grow up in HR. And they were really clear, and I talk about them in the book. It's Magna International. And they were very clear about our expectations in HR. And while this sounds bad, they treated me very well, but my job was to make it as easy as possible for the people who touched the part to do their job.
Right.
Because they made the money, not me. I was overhead. It was very clear to me, you are overhead.
Yeah.
Make it as easy as possible for them to make money.
And enjoy themselves, so
Yes.
they stay
Well,
at the line to continue
yeah.
making money.
It doesn't, it
Yeah.
sounds bad. They didn't treat me like I was overhead. They treated me very well. I was
Right,
treated
right.
just
No.
as well as
But-
anyone else, but yes.
Anyone can relate to this. We've all worked in positive work environments, and we've all worked in negative work environments. But they always say it's about the people. So if you listen to a retirement speech,
Yeah.
normally 9 out of 10, maybe 10 out of 10, they're going to say, I'm going to miss the people, or I'm going to miss my team, or I'm going to miss. They rarely say, I'm really going to miss that Monday morning meeting when we went over the quarterly
That's right.
report.
The Monday morning
and
meeting
Johnny-
that
and
should have been an
Johnny threw-
email.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
it should have been an email.
You
It's
see
about the
that
people.
everywhere.
And
Why
a-
do we have a meeting for this?
And a good leader or a bad leader could break the
That's
workplace.
right. Or just
Yes.
having a meeting just so someone can go out and have coffees and donuts, right? That's
This
Yeah.
is why I lead you, Kinsman, for you have a good workplace. Aren't you
That's
proud
right.
of me?
I am proud.
That's got to be worth
yes.
2,500.
That's it. I don't need to dive far into the book on this one. Klomp
You
is
need to
he's a
read this
great
book.
coworker.
That's right. You could say, "Oh, this is all Jamie. This is
Leading
all."
with ease. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's actually a chapter in this called "Do you work
Was
with
it-
Klomp?"
Was it hard? Is it really? Was it hard? I noticed in your life too, you talk the book gets really personal, and
Yes.
obviously a lot of it's based on your personal experience. Was that the hardest part about writing the book? Because you're really opening up about yourself.
I think probably a couple of years ago it would have been, but a few years ago I had a medical issue that I went through, and I met this woman. She was a coach, and she had us come and give a speech. Now I've been in Toastmasters for years, so coming and giving a speech is not a big deal, but she had some rules around giving this speech. We weren't allowed to prepare the speech. We had to step up on stage and just tell our story. So she was very clear about don't try and practice it too much, and there was a group of us all doing this at once. And it really just kind of opened up to being able to share those pieces of yourself, because it was a very hard time for me. You have to learn something new about yourself. You're a whole different person at that point. So having that experience of stepping up and being it's really being vulnerable and sharing your story has made a huge difference, because prior to that, when you're in HR, everything you do is reviewed. So I was always careful who I was friends with, where I went in the communities that I was working in, because whatever I was doing, everyone was looking to see what I was doing. So there was always a bit of a part of me that I was hiding. So stepping out and doing the work that I do now, I very much had to get into that vulnerable space, so people know, look, I've gone through this. I've gone through really amazing leaders, and I've gone through some pretty, we'll just say, not so great ones.
Right. As they
Yeah.
say, you don't
Yeah.
quit the job. You're quitting usually the leader or the boss.
Yes.
is who you're
Very much
disgruntled
so.
with.
But how
Yeah.
do you? Let me ask you a question, and it's quite possible the answer's in here. Say you're in a workplace where there's a leader that needs to read this book. Let's put it like that.
And you need to commit to this
But
book by
how-
tonight. Is it tonight at midnight?
Yes. Yeah.
So tonight at
Right.
midnight, leadingwithease.ca.
You jumped right on
commit
my
to it.
question there, Ken. But yes,
I'm
they're
just
very
saying.
important.
Go commit to this.
Nice.
Okay, we'll say it because this is a very important. This is
Yes,
why
a very
Well,
important part.
leadingwithease.ca, and you get to book yourself a 4-week training series with Lisa
Yes.
if
Right.
you commit to the book tonight before midnight.
Yes. And commit to buying the book tomorrow. So that was
Yes.
yeah.
Well, tomorrow's launch day.
Yes.
Yeah, launch
And,
day is
we
the
we
10th.
definitely want to, like, we're so proud of Lisa and everything that went in putting this book. But my question is, because these are such relatable questions. You're in a workplace and you have a leader that needs to polish up on his leadership skills. what's the best way for an employee to approach that? Because a lot of people go, I'm just going to toe the line. I'm going to keep quiet, because if I say anything that's borderline, even if it's constructive, I'm going to lose my
You're
job.
gonna lose
Right?
your job,
And people just remain silent.
or maybe lose your cool
Yeah.
because you don't know how to deal with it.
And so that's why I speak to the leaders more than the employees, because I would say what I would suggest them to do with me. If I was your HR person, definitely come and see me and have the conversation. And I've had those, and I think, I'm not sure if I share one of the stories in there where I did have an employee come to me and say, my leader's doing this, and I was like, whoa, okay, all right, that's fine, got it, I'm going to take care of that. And then I went and spoke to the leader, and we dealt with it.
Diffuse the situation.
Yeah. So, and it was something just simple. It was a situation, and I see leaders do this all the time, where they punished the whole for the sins of the few. So one guy was coming late, and they told the whole team, if this person keeps coming in, or if you guys keep coming in late, but everybody knew the one guy that was coming in late. Right. It was one guy.
Again, painting everybody with the same brush.
Yes. So they said, well, we're going to take this away from you. And I was like, whoa, no, we're not. I said, first of all, no one's taking that away from you. That's not even being discussed at the management level. So just to be clear, it's an idle threat at this point. So that's number one. But number two, I'm going to go talk to your leader, because we're going to deal with the one guy, not the whole group. We're not going to punish the whole group for something that they don't control. Because all you do then is you create a team of, there's 5 people that are mad at one.
Yeah.
So how are they going to work together the next day, right? So if you have an open department like that, then definitely go and talk to someone that can deal with it, or try and talk to your boss. Do try and have the conversation, because some people, they're like, oh no, you can't do that, can't do that. Well, have you tried? And if you haven't tried, then you can't say that they're not open. Once you've tried, if they're clearly not open, then my suggestion is always to move on.
Another thing, I've noticed, it's not, if you have a leader that doesn't hold the necessary skills, the human development skills, it's not always that leader's fault, because sometimes companies promote within, which is great, but they promote the technically strong, and they don't give them any people skills training. So that person doesn't know how to respond to absenteeism in the workplace, doesn't know how to respond to employee
Throws them
conflict,
to the wolves.
right? They only know how to respond to it as an employee, not a leader.
Yes, yeah. And so that was part of the process of writing the course initially, was I thought, okay, there's something out there, there's a need for when someone's stepping into that role in the first moments, and what do they need? Because what we'll end up doing is, over time, a lot of companies will send them for the courses, but they send them on 4-day training, and then they come back to 1,000 emails, and they take the binder and they go, and it goes up on their, they don't get to put the training in practice. So when I created the course, I do a lesson, you go practice the lesson. And when I say practice the lesson, it's in your day-to-day. Okay. So in your day-to-day, try these things in your day-to-day. So they go back and they try them, they come back, and we just spend an hour coaching on that. How did it go? What worked? What didn't work? Did you try this? And then they go back and they continue to practice while I'm teaching the next lesson. Yeah. So that was the idea. Strangely though, marketing is its own thing. It's not what happened. I didn't get the first time leaders. What I got was people with 5, 8, 10 years in leadership roles who had never been given anything like this. Like you said, they've got tossed into the role and said, go. And so they took care of what they could take care of. And now we're going, okay, why isn't it working? Why isn't this working? And 5, 10 years in, I'm telling them this stuff, and they're like, oh, now I get it. Now I get why those people aren't talking to me, or why they're so frustrated with me. Or
Well, it's great. I always told new supervisors, they go, well, where do we start? I always told people to be, as a new supervisor, be fair, be transparent, be flexible, and be understanding. Don't get walked over, but be all those things. And everyone has the ability to do those things, because we can do that in our normal walk of life. And usually those other skills will come. And it's the people, who have maybe an older school mentality, where I don't care about child care issues because I don't have children no more, or they're just here to work. I tell them what to do, and they get a paycheck as a reward. And you start to lose the respect of the crew, the team, silently.
When you lose the room,
silently.
That's it.
Yes.
Or the department.
Yeah, you don't know how much life you're better could be as a leader when your crew respects you. And we're not talking friends with you, and maybe it's not even like you. Not everyone likes everyone in the workplace, but if they respect you,
Yeah.
They're
But-
more,
But
It's
I've
gonna be
worked
that
with
much
people
easier.
that I didn't necessarily like, but I respected.
yeah.
So I remember my first job, I worked with someone and this guy was just great. And he was great because he taught me what I was supposed to know. And he really drilled some things into me. So where I was working at a plywood plant. So there was a lot of safety issues. So he said to me, if I haven't trained you, don't go there.
Mhm.
So he was really very clear on what I was allowed to do and what I wasn't allowed to do. But he was also very friendly. So he joked with us and he laughed. So there was a balanced approach. There was another supervisor that I had to work for afterwards who was not friendly at all. He wasn't friendly at all. I was a little afraid of him, to be honest. But I actually went back and worked at that same company. And as a leader, I really respected him because while he wasn't as friendly and he wasn't as outgoing as some of the other leaders, he was always the same. He was incredibly consistent. When someone did something wrong, he dealt with them. If someone else did something, the same thing, he dealt with them as well. There was no, this person's getting away with something and this person's not. He was consistent and fair across the board. He just wasn't chatty, really.
And
So,
yeah.
yeah.
And you
Yeah.
often remember your best leaders and worst leaders. One of my best leaders was my first HR job at a call center.
Oh,
And it was my second day on the job, fresh out of college. And the boss comes up to me and he was very blue collar to the point. He says, I need you to fire so-and-so. And he just slams down the folder with all the notes. Can you do it?
Can you
I'm
do
out
it?
of college and I'm
Did
sweating.
you do it? though?
Imagine- well,
How
listen,
did you terminate the person?
Listen,
Yeah.
trust me with the bald head and you're sweating, you can see it. I'm like, well, I got to do it. Like, I want to show I can do it.
Yeah.
So
And you
I,
got to do it in
well-
like serious
well-
clump
well,
voice.
yeah,
right?
of course. I didn't do a comedy act.
Hey, can I come on over here for a second?
Remember the time you got fired?
You're
No,
done.
That's not how it
Okay,
happened.
I'm just kidding.
that's-
No, I'm
So
serious.
I brought the person into my office and I let them go. And the meeting I thought went fairly well. Like, not a good circumstance, but I thought they felt okay with it. I didn't know what to think at the time, but no one threw a punch at me. So I'm like, whew. So
Yeah.
so in the afternoon, my boss comes and he goes, so how did the meeting go? And I said, yeah, everything went well. Here's the notes. And he goes, well, why are they still sitting there? So I fired the wrong person. I fired the wrong person the second
What?
day in my career.
As they're taking their box to the
Yeah.
car.
So-
Hey,
Yeah.
Jen,
Just
come
kidding.
back here.
Oh yeah, man.
Hey, just
So-
a slight
I've told this
miscommunication.
story many times at HR conferences. Actually,
Oh, that's
I
awesome.
won a BlackBerry for this in an HR magazine.
Nice.
And so I had to bring the other person back, apologize, of course.
Give
Oh,
them a
man,
raise.
It was embarrassing. And
You can take my
Give
job.
them
now.
a raise. Yeah.
and fire the right person. But my boss brought me in. He goes, well, there's two options here. He goes, this could be a learning lesson, or I can bleep and fire you. He told me this.
He was going to
Nice.
fire you.
Yes, he
Right.
says. So what do you choose? I'll take the life lesson.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Life
it's
lesson,
very.
life lesson.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. So once again, like I learned at that time, like if you want to be in a leadership role, you can't be reactive. You have to be, thoughtful and know all the information
Yes.
and
Got to be
prepared.
assertive.
And wow,
You
that
can't be
was.
shy to
I
take
went right
on
off the
task,
deep end.
Yeah.
Day two, Kendra.
Yes. That's
Right?
awesome. Yeah.
Oh, that was.
Well, and you never know how people are going to react in that situation.
Yeah.
So I've had the terminations where we thought, okay, this person's going to be very calm. It's going to be okay. We walk in, we terminate the person, and they lost it.
Yeah.
And like started threatening. Thank God it wasn't me at this one. They started threatening my boss, and we were like, whoa, we did not see that coming. We did not see that coming at all. And then I had another one where I had to do it on my own. I said, well, I'm not doing it myself. This guy is known to fly off the handle. So I situated myself in the room so that I was closest to the door. We had two guys outside and I had a code word. Like if I yelled something, they were coming in, we're ready to go. And the guy, I said, okay, you're terminated. And he went, okay.
Yeah.
And he walked out.
Out
I
the
was
door.
like,
Yeah. But-
okay. Now I look like an idiot because I've totally prepared this. Like I need like three
You
people
do.
around if he loses it.
But the biggest thing I learned, no matter what the individual did to lead up to the termination, a decision's been made that's going to dramatically affect their life.
Yeah.
Personally, financially, it has a whole bunch of barriers. So no matter what, is to remain, respectful and calm and keep the discussion away from an argument. And yeah, that was a very humorous situation. At the time, it wasn't.
No.
It was a
No,
big
no, no.
learning
No, yeah,
lesson
yeah.
for me if I wanted to be a leader. Like, I'm telling someone some very devastating news,
Yeah.
no matter the circumstances. And I myself, I want to be a leader. I better be prepared that I'm doing things the right way. Obviously, I wasn't that day, but this is one of many things.
One way to stay on track.
Yes.
Keep
Yeah.
that with the different steps.
Well, and it doesn't. So one of the things I do touch on is it doesn't make that person a bad person.
No.
So the person that you're firing, they just don't belong where you work. That's all. They didn't want to follow whatever rules or whatever, so that's okay. You're welcome to work somewhere else. Like, I don't have bad thoughts about you, but you just can't stay here. For me, there was really obvious ones. Often it was a safety issue that we were terminating people for, or like this guy who was flying off the handle all the time. He was unsafe for the people around him. So we were asking him to move on, but it doesn't make them bad people. And I think that's what we forget, is that because we have to get to a space where we're like so upset that, okay, now I'm going to fire them. I got this. I'm going to fire them. Right. But that's not what you're doing. Look, they're still good people. Their behavior just doesn't fit this workplace. That's all.
And the other thing you have to look at is, where did we as a workplace fail this person?
Yeah.
It's very easy to blame the person who was terminated for their behavior issues, but I guarantee somewhere down the line, someone could have had a discussion with them, understand maybe something was going on at home. There's many drivers there, and you have to look at those
You need
gaps.
to peel back the layers and
Yes.
find out what those problems
And
are.
the best
and
leaders can
address them.
self-identify that and be constructive with themselves, because the worst leaders are, I'm Superman, Superwoman in the workplace, and I have no faults.
Yeah. No,
Right?
yeah.
And
And none of
no
us
control on your
none of us
department or
don't.
your room.
Yeah,
Right?
that's
You
right.
lose the room. It's like a hockey coach, right?
Yeah.
You lose the room. Look what happens. Look at the
Yeah.
Leafs.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
That's what happened since '67.
Yeah, they got no accountability.
We're still waiting.
No,
for
there's still none.
that next cut.
There's still none. So that is the first thing I talk about in the book. Is the first section is know yourself. So know yourself. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What things bring you energy? What things take away your energy? Because if you're sitting in your office all day only doing the work that sucks your energy, you're not showing up in the best way to your team, right? You have to find a way to give yourself energy again in that day.
Gotta add some morale.
Yeah,
in
to
the
yourself
workplace.
first,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
To yourself first. So then once you know and understand yourself, you can let everybody else be themselves, and they don't have to be like me. So I tend to hire the people that are like the opposite side of a personality assessment that I am, because they're going to think things through. They're going to look at the details for me. They're going to remind me, hey, Lisa, did you think about this? Because I'm the type of person that I run headlong into things and I just get it done. So that's why I needed a book coach to go, Lisa, what about this? Or that doesn't make any sense to anyone who's not in HR, right?
Yeah.
So taking those steps back to say, okay,
Tackling the problem
Yeah,
solvers
So
out there.
that's a great lead-in, because so this book is primarily for anyone in a leadership role, aspires to be a leader.
yes, yeah, absolutely. So like I said, when I wrote the course, it was really about, I was thinking about the first-time leader who gets, 3 months into the job, gets sent on one training course, 6 months later, they get another one. I wanted to give them a solid foundation in 8 weeks, basically. And so now that's what I'm trying to do with the book, is give you a really solid foundation right from the get-go. So it's not, okay, I'm going to get that course in 6 months. Well, what's that going to do for the first 6 months? Now your team all hates you, and now I get why they hate me, right?
Right.
Now I get what I was doing wrong. So instead of that, having that foundation. So the first thing is knowing yourself, being aware of who you are, and knowing your team. So I call it knowing yourself. But then once you get to know yourself, it's really easier to know, okay, so-and-so is not like me. That doesn't mean they're wrong. They just like to do things at a little slower pace than I do. They like to think it through. They need all the information before. That's great. So I know now when I'm doing a change or making a change, I got to slow down a little for that one guy, right? Or maybe they're not like me and they need more change. Maybe I'm the person that was, likes the slower pace, and that person needs more change. Well, I'm just going to give them more projects, because then they have something to constantly be moving towards, right? Keeps them interested.
Busy.
Yeah, it keeps them busy. So that's the first thing, is knowing yourself. And the second thing to get really clear on is, where are you going? Like, what's the purpose of this group and this company? And I talk about 2 different companies that do this really well. And one I worked for, and that was Magna International. I mentioned them already. And the second is actually someone from the north. It's cementation. It used to be run by a gentleman named Roy Slack. I know him through Toastmasters, so I interviewed him for this. And I have a friend who used to work for their company. So I trust that what he's saying is true because my friend felt it, what we call it, what he refers to at the face. So what he was saying were his vision, mission, values, they actually felt that in, oh, well, this is a mining town, so I'm going to guess most of you know what they mean by at the face, but at the face is basically the frontline people. So they did know and they did feel it. So I trust that when I'm saying that with him, that's the truth. So they were really clear on where they were going, what was important to them. And the way I describe that is your vision is like a scene at the end of a long road. You'll never actually get to that scene, but it's something that just keeps you motivated. And then your mission is the road itself and how you're currently traveling it. And your values are like the guideposts all along the road that's keeping everybody working in the same direction. So if you think of it that way, then when you're clear on them, everybody knows which way to go. And you don't have to be there to answer the questions for everyone because they know, oh, if I do that, that actually steps us outside of our values. So that's not okay. So we need a bigger conversation if I'm going to step us outside of our values. Right now, they know when they have to come to have that bigger conversation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about, so the official release date is tomorrow.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about the advantage of purchasing the book and the 4-week training series.
Yes.
Yeah. So what I decided to do in the lead up to this is you try and get as many books sold on the first day. That's the kind of the goal. So you want it done on the first day. So that's tomorrow. So what I decided was if you go to the leadingwithease.ca and you say, okay, yes, I'm gonna commit to buying the book tomorrow. You'll get an email tomorrow with the link on Amazon. You buy the book and then you'll get an invitation to this 4 weeks through February. We're gonna meet for an hour each week. I'll go through a little deeper into each of the sections of the book and then allow people to ask questions and be coached on the spot.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's
Very beneficial.
Better than an audio book. You get the
Yeah.
audio, plus you get you can ask questions.
You get the actual author
Yeah.
of the book.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
how exciting is that? So again, leadingwithease.ca, go to the website, commit to buying the book. And again, it's on Amazon. Is it only on Amazon right now, or are you looking to distribute it to other places, or just Amazon?
Yeah, it's just on Amazon right now. I will do a book signing at the end of the month. So if you order your book tomorrow, we're going to do something at the end of January. We haven't finalized the date yet, but it's likely the last full week of January.
Oh, you'll have to let us know about
Yeah, I will
that.
definitely let you know.
Keep us
Yeah.
posted.
But
will, for
do
sure.
we get our sign tonight?
You can,
that
for
is the
sure.
question.
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
we're gonna have
Yeah.
autograph
Now-
copies.
Yeah.
Lisa Wilson.
I have a
Yes.
question here, and maybe I'm overthinking
Okay.
because I typically do it. So if you purchase a copy of the book, I mean, I can't show it on camera. It's a great picture of you, the author smiling. Now, I noticed when I pick up I used to buy a lot of HR books.
Okay.
And I look at the author and they look like their passport photo. They look like they're bored of their own book.
Yeah.
I love the
She's
fact that
excited
you're
right here.
smiling.
Yeah.
I know you present a lot of positivity. You're a very positive person. Did you give a lot of thought into the picture that goes here, or you just grabbed one? To me, it looks like you purposely,
Yes.
and I love it, by the way.
Yeah. No, those pictures were done actually by Arel Molfus. I took them very
No, it's
early
not
on in
very
my
good
career. I don't know if
Kinda
you can
hard
see
to
it.
Yeah.
So, so I picked that one actually particularly because the head frame's behind, but then they put it in a little circle so you can't see the head
Oh,
frame
I
so
love it.
well.
I
Yeah.
love
You can
this.
still
So-
tell. You can still
but-
tell us the head.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So you can see the head frame behind, but I'm always smiling. Like I don't see a purpose to having this serious face because if you're going into work that's always serious and boring, why?
Yeah, that's right.
Like we spend most of our time there.
And you want to take advice from someone
Yes.
you want
Yeah.
to take from someone advice who sees life realistically, but sees a lot of the
Yeah.
positive ends.
I'm very practical in my thinking, so I'm not I can read all the books with all the big concepts and things like that, but I like to take those and go, okay, how does that work practically? And what does that look like practically? So some of the questions in there, I think one section starts with I think the name of the chapter is, am I allowed to say that? Because
Right.
that is a question that I get a lot in my coaching. Is like, am I allowed to say that? Well, yes, you're allowed to say that. Is it true? Does it meet your mission, vision, and values? Yes, then you can say that. Never call someone a name. Never there's some general rules that we should know better. But yes, you're allowed to say that. Did they do something they weren't supposed to do? Yes. Then say that.
Then say it.
Yeah, then say that. And it's okay to say that. So yeah, so I just think it should be fun and it doesn't have to be mean, right? Like just because someone's not doing what you want them to in this moment. It doesn't have to be mean. They probably have 100 other things that they do really, really well. But this one thing we have to talk about. And I'll get that call sometimes. I actually got a call recently from someone who said, look, Lisa, this person did this thing. It's actually really bad for what they did outside of the company. And they brought the company into an argument they were having. So not like it was something outside of the workplace, but not good. They put the company in a bad situation. Okay. And they said, but like, they're my best employee. Mm-hmm. They're my best employee. And I was like, that's okay. They're still your best employee, but they still can't do that. So they can still be awesome in the workplace and everything else. But that thing that they did isn't okay. And you have to write them up. They were like, I have to write it. Yeah. I'm like, yes, you have to write it. You have to document this because if it continues, then they can't keep working for you, even if they're the best.
Well, then other people are going to see it and follow suit.
Yeah.
Joanne's asking, is there a Kindle version?
Yeah.
There sure is. Yep.
There we go.
So it's on Amazon and and you can buy, and actually for Canadians. So what the other thing that we do is the Kindle version is really inexpensive. It's $1.36 Canadian because it was put through on the US site first. So it's $1 US, but $1.36 Canadian.
There we go. And tomorrow maybe $1.37, $1.35.
Yeah. Depends on the day. Yeah.
The way the inflation
we are so proud of you.
This is awesome.
And we know the role you played in the community and outside the community of your own leadership. And you watch The Office.
I do, yeah.
Okay, if you watch The Office, Toby, like that's not human resources.
No,
okay?
God, no.
That's Toby tried to ruin it for all, but Lisa's one of the brilliant minds and helping. Look at this connection lost.
Connection lost already.
There we. Oh, look, there
pretty.
we go.
Yeah.
The picture of
the static electricity from our socks.
It's all it's the snapshot of Timmins back there. When I first saw that, I thought the TV was broken. But Lisa's such
cheaper than gas.
Yeah, that's a great inspiration.
Yes, cheaper than gas.
And again, a local author right here in the city.
And let's support her and follow Lisa online. Many positive, many awesome followings and pieces of advice. And I know I followed you when times were tough through COVID, and I thought that was pretty amazing how you kept passing on the positivity.
Yeah.
And this is tremendous.
This is awesome.
Super tremendous. And
go and support.
Yeah.
And again, leadingwithease.ca. Commit to buying the book tomorrow, and you'll have a 4-week training session with Lisa Wilson. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, she's the gal right there.
She is.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming in.
There we go. Hey, how do we close it out here, Kinsman? You gonna start making it rain, Brandon?
I like that, Greg. I thought it was a scam. Honestly, I hope I wasn't live when they picked the call. I said, I can't, there's so many scams going on.
You won the money.
No way.
You won the money. All you had to do is give me your SIN number and your driver's
my
license.
SIN number
and your mother's maiden name.
They said, can you scrape some tooth enamel? I said,
right.
what's going on here? But no, it was legit.
All right.
Nice.
Well, thank you, Lisa. Thank you.
I'm going to go buy a book now with that.
That's right. You better buy 4,000 books.
Well, we'll give some copies away on the show, and I'll purchase some, and we'll give them away.
All right. Awesome. Good night, everyone. We will see you tomorrow.
Caída.